Okay. Learned helplessness, like I said, it's so easy. It's so easy. And I did it myself to blame the MRI, to blame the prescription, not working, to blame the insurance company, to blame, well, I mean, we can always blame the insurance company. Let's not forget that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy just to well, all these things happened to me, and that is why I am the way that I am, and that is why I will forever be the way that I am. Hello, everyone. Dr. Dustin here. It is another episode of the Dr. Dustin Show, and I have to say it has finally happened. I have been a statistic. I am a statistic now. One of 80% of people who experience an episode of acute back pain. Yes, it happened last week, and it threw all my staff up in a hizzy. What's going on with Dr. Leak? Is he okay? Yes, I'm okay. Well, what were you doing to look like this? I was like walking over like this, like, I'm okay, I'm all right. Actually, all I was doing was taking the trash out, and it is what it is, right? That's what happens. Disc pain is one of those things that can just happen out of nowhere. A sneeze, stepping off the curb the wrong way, pushing too hard on the toilet. Next thing you know, you can't move. And so that's what happened to me on Friday. And actually, this isn't the first time this happened, let's be honest. This happened at least 2 other times. The first time I was laid out on the floor at Home Depot. That's another story. So why does this happen? It's interesting. I think it's because statistically it's likely. And secondly, as a pain doctor, I think it's God just, dripping a little bit of salt on my body just to make sure that I have enough empathy for my patients. So you know what? That's a good thing. But no, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I had a encounter with my wife when I came home on Friday. I got home from work and was walking into the house, and of course I'm all hunched over. She's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, I'm fine. It doesn't hurt if I look like this. It just hurts when I look normal." And she's like, "Didn't you do that before? I'm pretty sure this has happened before." I'm like, "Yeah." Instantly my thought went to, I got this disc back there. She's like, you should probably strengthen your back muscles a little bit. And I was like, no, it's just this bad disc that I have. And I stopped. I was like, oh my goodness. I do exactly what a lot of my patients I just did what a lot of my patients do. And my wife just did what I do. And I was like, I should know better than this. You're right. I should have stronger back muscles. The only reason probably I have this disc problem is because my back is so weak. Practice what you preach, right, doctor? And so I was like, yeah, you're right. That's interesting. So I pondered on this concept the whole weekend. I was like, what does it look like to really live with this? I mean, you can have little exacerbations and recover and, basically just get lucky and go about your life and not think about it. But what happens if this pain never really went away, right? Who do I have to blame? I at the end of the day, I don't have anyone to blame but myself, right? I mean, I should be exercising my back more, really. And so this idea of extreme ownership came to mind, and it's actually more of a corporate term, at least that's how they talk about it. And they don't call it extreme ownership in medicine or in science, at least that I could find. But the closest term that comes to the idea of extreme ownership is self-efficacy. And that has been written about ad nauseum. And it's this idea that, I may not have caused my pain, but I can control how I react to it. I can control how I respond to it, how I get better, the steps I take in order to maintain the health of my mind and my body, right? And that may not result in any significant change, at least not right away, right? If, of course, if we could just, think, oh, well, I'm going to take responsibility, whatever that means, and flip a button and I'm all better. I mean, no, that's not what that means, right? I mean, even in business, the idea of extreme ownership. I live this every day, or at least I'm called to live this every day as a business owner. If there's trouble in the business, if patients are not getting their needs met, or I have staff members that are upset with how little I'm paying them, or whatever the case may be, right? At the end of the day, as the owner, the buck stops with me. And even if I was not directly responsible, let's say, for a patient negative experience, ultimately, again, it's still my responsibility. And so that's not a bad thing. That's what we need to see in business. We need to see extreme ownership. But the same thing would apply to health, especially chronic conditions, right? I think it's so easy to immediately assign blame. As a patient, I did it on Friday. Well, it's not me. It's this disc that, someone decided to put in my back. That someone being God, because I've never had surgery, right? I'm ready to blame God before I would take any ownership over that myself. And it's like a knee-jerk reaction, right? Well, it wasn't me. It's not my fault. It's not because I didn't go to the gym. It's not because I'm lazy. It's not because I choose to eat poorly or not sleep well, right? It's my disc. That's the problem. And, even in situations where we really are victims, right? You were involved in a car accident or something and you had really bad whiplash, right? Imagine taking extreme ownership in that situation. I mean, the justification is to not take ownership is huge, right? Well, that person did it to me, right? That doctor did it to me. That surgery did it to me. You can come up with all kinds of different scenarios. Well, it's my DNA, it's my genetics, it's my family, it's how I was raised. It was, X, Y, and Z. Now, again, I'm not saying that those things didn't legitimately contribute to your pain symptoms. Not at all. There can be many situations where you were truly the victim of a situation that caused you to experience the symptoms you're experiencing now. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is what good is it to assign that blame elsewhere or to not take responsibility? Because at the end of the day, it's still your body, right? It's still the body you have, the only body you have that you have to live in every day, and you're the only one that really has the most control over the trajectory of your healing, right? Of your progress, of your regeneration, of your health. And so this is the definition really of self-efficacy. Despite it all, I can, ... Despite it all, I can. And really that should be the quote that should be put on t-shirts. Despite it all, I can. And it's not, again, it's not, saying, well, just tough it out. Oh, well, just have a positive mindset or anything like that. What it is doing is it's taking stock of what you have and learning how to live to the best of your ability despite it all, right? There's this idea of learned helplessness versus learned agency. Okay, learned helplessness, like I said, it's so easy. It's so easy. And I did it myself to blame the MRI, to blame the prescription, not working, to blame the insurance company, to blame, we can always blame the insurance company. Let's not forget that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy just to all these things happened to me, and that is why I am the way that I am, and that is why I will forever be the way that I am. But unfortunately, in that scenario, really not helping yourself much, right? I mean, even going to the doctor, a lot of times as patients, we sort of expect the doctor to heal us, right? And, it's like, well, give me the medicine that's going to make me feel better, because I can't make me feel better on my own. Well, okay, I mean, you may not be able to make yourself 100% better, but I can guarantee it that the medication I'm going to give you is not going to make you 100% better either. It's going to take a team effort, right? But again, for so long, there's just been this sort of paternalistic culture in the physician-patient relationship where, if we go to the doctor with a problem and then we expect the doctor to fix it, and if the doctor doesn't fix it or the problem still exists, it's the doctor's fault or it's the healthcare system's fault or it's, anything but whatever you have control over. And definitely the physician has responsibility. I'm not trying to, throw that out the window. But what I am saying is that this idea of learned helplessness can really be a dead end for your mental health, your physical health, and really the trajectory you're trying to go. So then the opposite of that is learned agency, right? Again, despite it all, I can, right? Well, maybe I can't run a mile anymore, but I sure as heck can walk to the kitchen, and that's a good thing, right? I'm overweight and that sucks, but I can still control what I put in my mouth, right? My back hurts and I know my muscles are weak and I can still control whether I go to the gym or not. There's all these things that we do have control over that it may be easy to say that we don't, or, maybe we're putting the bar too high. Maybe we need to put the bar lower. For some of us. Well, I still have control over the fact that I can take a shower. Yes, it might take me a little bit longer than it used to, but I still can do it. And I know it's going to help me, right? So that's the learned agency that comes in where there's a 3-step approach. One is identifying our strengths, right? We want to know, okay, we can't do all this. I know all that, but what can I do, right? And sometimes we need help with that. Sometimes we need an outsider to say, hey, I know you're struggling. I know you're seeing everything sort of slip away from you, but look, this is what you can do, and that's awesome. And I appreciate that. Or remember when we had fun doing this? I know it's not what you normally do, but we had fun doing that, right? So it's identifying your strengths. And then the second step is actually practicing gratitude for it, right? Because again, when we're living with these conditions, it's so easy to be pessimistic. It's so easy to, get down and out, over ourselves and just, well, I guess that's the end. I'm worthless. I got nothing left to do. I can't do it if I wanted to. I can't be there for my family, right? It's so easy. It's natural. I've been there. But again, that's not helping anybody. That's not even helping you. So practice gratitude for what we can do, even if it's so small. Say, thank you, God, I can at least move my arm, even if it's that small. I can reach over and touch my watch and appreciate looking at the watch and messing with the bracelet and hearing the little clicky sounds. I mean, if that's how small it has to be, so be it. But that's a pleasure. That's a life pleasure, and that's something to be grateful for. And build on that, because the longer you practice it, the more it becomes second nature. And the more you're looking for good things, the more you're going to see good things. And that's going to change your entire outlook, not only in the present, but where you're headed in the future. And then the last step to practicing learned agency is meaning-making activities. Okay? Meaning-making activities, which basically means you assign a value to what it is you're trying to do or what it is you're doing in the first place. Viktor Frankl is often quoted to say, those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. All right? Simple as that. You got kids you want to see grow up? You can do this. You got a graduation you want to be at? You can do this. You want to drive that classic car, one last time across the country? Okay, well, here are the steps you need to do to get there. You can do this, right? And assigning that type of goal or any kind of goal that you have in your mind that makes your life worth living, that makes it so that you can say, this is why I'm here. This is why I have a quality of life. This is my calling on this earth. Then, yeah, life will be a little bit easier. At least you will have something to work towards. And this is the total antidote to catastrophic thinking. This is the total antidote to that. I remember the first time I threw my back out, I was like, oh, I've never experienced this before. This is terrible. I really can't move. I'm like bedridden and my knees up to my chest and all this stuff. And within the first day, I'm like, Amanda, where's my disability paperwork? Like, that's my wife. I'm like, I can't go to work like this. This is crazy. So I get that. And yeah, we may need disability for a time. I'm not dogging on disability. But what I'm saying is, like, that's not the end. There can still be something that we have in our agenda on this earth that we can accomplish. And by doing that, our quality of life will be better, our relationships will be better, our outlook will be better. And quite frankly, it just goes with our entire goal here at this clinic, living more with less pain. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, this idea of extreme ownership. I want to bring that to the pain management space as really a thought project, but also a practice in life. Let me know what your thoughts are below. What is it that you agreed with what I said today? What is it that you disagreed with? What questions do you have? And let's have that conversation, this idea of extreme ownership, self-efficacy. So important in pain management. But until then, this is the Dr. Dustin Show. I am Dr. Dustin. And remember, despite it all, you can. Take care.